What you gonna do if you know you have a superpower? This movie will figure out how our hero did it. Our movie beginning with someone is gradual and drawing things. He can find and visualize the places of things when he touch it. He was touching some cloth and visualized the place of the owner of the cloth. This process took all of his power, and once he finished he fall down and pass away. In the other side there is boy called Michele, and he is 13 years old, trying to buy his favorite costume for Halloween. To figure out the store is closed, but he had no time for anything but to go to school, cause he's late. Once he get in the school, he get in the class. While he was in the class, he started to take photos for the girl that he love in secret, the girl called Stella. While he take photos for her, he got interrupted by the class bully boys. His mom is the sheriff of the city. She get in the class looking for a boy from the class that disappeared, and she think that he got kidnapped. Unfortunately, no one saw him. Michele have some problem with his nose, makes him go to the bathroom immediately. That's where bully boys, trying to make a problem with him, ended up to embarrass him in front of the school. After the school, he had to search for a costume for the Halloween. He get in the Chinese street to get some costume, but he didn't find the suit that he wanted, but he had no time, so he got other custom. At first he didn't want to go, cause it's not his customs that he want to buy. But he changed his mind after he having good conversation with his mother, and go after all. Everything was good and he was have a good time, and good conversation with Stella. But the things didn't end up well. The two bully boys starting to show Stella some videos and images for her in Michele mobile phone. After that, the bully boys started to chase him everywhere. That's when he figured out a way to run away. In the next morning he woke up, didn't figure out anything wrong. He took his shower and continue his routine. All this disappeared literally when he looked at the mirror to figure out he can't see himself. He is invisible. Surprisingly, trying to make any move to know what is happening, he run to his room immediately to see himself in other mirrors. And that's when his mother get in the room and didn't seen him. That's when he know he is invisible and no one really can see. He is invisible, wearing a lot of clothes to hide his face and his body, and get out to starting his mission. That was starting from revenge from all the boys. First thing he's starting to do immediately is to get off all his clothes to be fully invisible. And in the other side, while that is happening, there was some blind man was watching Michele from afar. Michele decided to starting with the first bully child. The bully one had a toy gun in his bag, and he wasn't aware what will happen with him. Wearing his headphones, not aware about the flying gun beside him, directed to the board front of the teacher to shoot right away. Then BuzzCon in his hand left him speechless in front of the angry teacher. Second thing of Michele wanted to do is the dream of any student, and it's writing all the right answer in his exam. And last thing he wanted to do distraction for the other bully boy to make him inconvenient, and makes him lose in the end in front of his angry father, and then make him think there is a ghost chasing him. He didn't know what he going to do next, that when he saw the girls, and he follow them to the locker room. And while he is sitting there, think everything is working to his favor. Things didn't end up well, cause one of the girls threw her towel and it fell on his face. In the same time, he felt something wrong with his visibility. He's starting to appear in the other side of the towel. One of the girls decided to take courage and find out what was behind the towel, and he figured out they can see him. After that, he disappeared again and couldn't control his superpower. He put the hat on his head and some cloth in his face to hide his face from people while he is invisible. But his sister felt there is something wrong with him once she saw him like this in the house, and she tricked him to show his head. He had no option but to tell her about everything, from when he bought the sweet to why he's still invisible. And while he's still invisible, he heard his mother by accident while she talked in the phone that he not her son and he is adopted. He left the house to get his mind clear, and while he was in setting on the swing, someone was watching the swing move by itself, and this one was Stella. Stella wasn't afraid, and she was more curious about this. Once she sat down, she started to talk, with no idea it's Michele, but what she know it's not bad ghost. After Michele draw a smiling face, she started to like him and they started a friendship. While that happening, Michele figure out there is someone watching him, and it's look like that he can see him even he seems like a blind man. When the night come, Michele decided to visit Stella. She opened the window for him to enter, and they had a good time talking and chilling. Young sister wanted him to tell Stella his real identity, and after decided that's the right thing to do. He went to the place that he knows she train in, but he was choked after knew there is other man there trying to kidnap Stella, and after a long fight, he lost and the man kidnapped Stella. He get her in the car and run away, and in the other side, Stella waked up finding herself tied it tightly in some lab surrounded with scientists. They start to examine her. And in the other side, Michele wanted to know more about the suit, so he tried it on his sister, but nothing happened. And that's when he know it's his power. Then he started to think about his real parents. He went to his mom and in anger told her he know he's adopted. That's when the things heated up to leave in anger. The other side of Stella get in the room, and she figure out they have in this room that two people that was kidnapped before. When he was angry, he saw the blind man that started to tell him a lot of stories, beginning with his parents. He got Michele attention and followed him, and he started to tell Michele about himself. He was in a Russian camp, and they had people like him with superpower that they made in exams on them to use them like a weapons in their wars. They have a lot of superpower there, and one of them is the first one that we saw him that can visualize the things. We know the blind man wasn't blind before, and he was having some relationship with some women in this camp. They loved each other, and they get a child in the camp. The Russian tried to get him away from the mother and father. That when they decided they have to run away, and that's what they did. But the soldiers chased them and left them no choice but to confront them. But the mother decided to sacrifice herself by using her superpowers to save the child. She left him with his father to escape, and the shock was that her superpowers were the same as Michele's superpowers. After a long fight, she lose, but the blind man and the baby succeed to run away. Her sacrifice wasn't for nothing. And all of that means that this woman was Michele's mother and this blind man is his real father. In the same time, someone was searching for Michele. In the other side, the blind man used his superpower to delete the memory of someone saw them to clear his way from tracking him, and he give Michele a superpower suite that interact with his superpower and disappear with him. In the other side, the kids tried to escape. Back to Michele that get back to his house with no idea about the man that tracking him. He decided to wear his suit, and in the same time the man was going upstairs to his room and they start a fight. Ended up with Michele figure out to escape from the man after the destroying fighting each other, and Mitchell succeed to run away using bully child bike to figure out a way to run away from the man. After that he show his identity for the child. After having a long fight, he followed this man using his power to where they hide Stella and the two. Once he save her, he followed her with no idea that there is other man control her by his power. This telepathy superpower man who was the one that is searching for him, but he handled to fight him and win. Then he lost the control over Stella and the other guy. They starting the long fight and they figure out a way to get out from the submarine and win the fight and destroy the submarine. Now everyone is saved. The blind man remove all the memory to protect Michele, even from Stella's mind. But Stella figure out his identity after seeing this logo. The movie ended here, but there is part 2 if you like a recap for it. Tell me in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe.